Hey everyone, how you doing? Welcome back to JOECMDRAWZ, welcome back to a new video. In this new video, we're going to be looking at 3 ludicrously powerful Logia-type devil fruits. Let's get into it. Okay everybody, we're moving on to the first devil fruit here of the new batch of these ludicrously powerful Logia-type devil fruits. And the first one here is the Tartar devil fruit, or better known as the Toku Toku no Mi. It's a unique and powerful devil fruit in the world of One Piece. For those who consume this fruit, they gain the ability to create and manipulate tar in so many different ways. The user can mold their tar into any shape, creating sticky traps and weapons. They can also obscure their movements and create thick layers of tar as armor, protecting themselves from any kind of physical attack. They can superheat it up, and create these huge sticky bubbles to immobilize living creatures. They have the power to corrupt and dissolve living beings slowly. It's truly kind of terrifying, and like I said, they can heat it up to scorching temperatures, allowing the user to burn anything it comes into contact with. So tar is no joke. It's an incredibly powerful natural substance that can be found. Have you seen those films where all those dinosaur bones are in these huge black tar pits? Yeah, that's that substance. And having the ability to not only change its form, from a huge sticky mess to a hardened kind of asphalt is really amazing. It makes this devil fruit incredibly versatile. So you can see there, I've got my reference off to the side there. I used a new AI program I've been messing around with lately called playground.ai. It's very useful. I'll leave a link in the description for you guys to check it out. But yeah, this one didn't take me very long to get to the final design. I knew I wanted some sort of sticky, droopy kind of shape to the devil fruit, just to highlight its properties of being quite sticky, as the user, like I said, can superheat and supercharge up, their tar body, to superheats to burn everything and anything that comes into contact with it, as well as and trapping them, and it can trap large enemies. I bet you could even trap Kaido with this tar that comes from this devil fruit, which is pretty amazing. So you can see, I've refined my sketch and moved on to the inking here. I actually I made a new inking brush for this session, and I really like using it. It's got a lot of two-slotted grit onto it, and I really like it. I got some really nice line weight and variation there. Here I'm putting on kind of like the classic devil fruit swirls, which didn't take very long to come up with, and then I've got this kind of curly, droopy, drippy kind of stalk there that goes on top of the devil fruit, which I really like. I'm always trying to improve my process in designing devil fruits and not stick or repeat the same ones or the same kind of design elements over and over again, because every devil fruit is different, So I've finished inking here, and I'm moving on to the colour. I've got my grey base there, which will allow me to keep all my colours, contained in that, which is very useful. That's a process you guys should use if you're designing your own devil fruits. And here I'm picking colours from my other bit of reference off to the side there, which is a picture of an actual tar pit with all these kind of big tar bubbles. There's another thing you could do. You could mold your tar into these big tar bubbles and then explode them, and you've got this hot, sticky, scorching, scalding tar that is just going everywhere, which makes you extremely lethal. I'm trying to always refine my process in kind of rendering these devil fruits. So I'm looking at some actual official artwork off to the side there. I've got Uta's devil fruit at the top there, and I've got Bo Hancock's off to the side there as well. Trying to, color pick, trying to see what I can do. A lot of them have this kind of weird, kind of soft shine onto them. That's what I'd recommend you guys do. You look at some official artwork. So I think we're coming to the end here. But yeah, that is the Tartar devil fruit. Okay, so the second devil fruit that we're going to be looking at today is the Blood devil fruit. So I've got my reference off to the side there. I've got different kind of fruits of the pomegranates there, some different AI kind of images, and I'm just kind of starting off my sketching process here as well. I've got also kind of a blood kind of drop shape there. So the blood devil fruit, also known as the Chichi no Mi, is a Logia-type devil fruit that allows the user to transform their body into blood. as well as control and manipulate the blood of others. The user can solidify their blood into a scab-like armor that provides excellent defense and shape, their blood into various weapons and projectiles for attack. Like shooting, like gathering blood at the end of their finger and shooting it like a little blood pistol or like a blood bullet, which is pretty cool. Maybe that's one of their attacks, blood bullets. One of the unique properties of the Chi-Chi no Mi is the ability to almost kind of like blood bend, kind of like in Avatar. Avatar, Legend of Korra, and Avatar: The Last Airbender, which allows the user to control their opponent's movements and actions by manipulating the blood in their bodies. So obviously, I think if it would work if you got your own kind of like blood that you transform into their body somehow, and then you can control and manipulate that. I think that's the way it would work. But in summary, the Chi-Chi no Mi is a powerful and dangerous fruit that gives the user control over the life force of pretty much other beings, making them an incredible opponent in battle. So I've moved on to the second round of sketching here. As you can see, I've got different kind of, ideas for what this devil fruit could be. Some are more of like a cacao pod shape. Some of them are more like heart shaped, which is probably what I should have gone for. One there, I can looks more like a pomegranate. This other one I'm working on here is it's an alright design, but it's way too complicated. There's an advice for you guys as well. If you're designing your own devil fruit, sometimes they don't need to be complex or complicated or have an incredibly complex swirl pattern or color pattern, or color palette. Sometimes simple is just best. Here I'm just kind of like faffing on really with a lot of stuff. And here I'll go back to that almost kind of like blood drop kind of shape, which what I probably should have just stuck with, because like I said, sometimes simple is best, and there's nothing wrong with going along with simplicity. Here I kind of take that blood drop shape and I kind of flip it upside down, which is kind of interesting. Subverting the shape, and here instead of actually having a swirly stem, I actually opt for leaves actually at the top instead. And some devil fruits in the world of One Piece have this kind of feature, kind of like Boogie the Clown's chop fruit. It has that. It doesn't really have a stem; it just has kind of leaves. So I'm moving on here to a different swirl pattern, because since I feel like the shape is a bit, simple, I wanted, an interesting or unique swirl pattern. And so I've got some different references of official devil fruits here. I think that's the heart fruit, or the one that Law has, the upper no Mi, the Bomb, and then Katakuri's Mochi no Mi. And so here I'm trying out different kind of like swirl patterns to see what I like. Here I'm trying to use the contour of the actual shape of the devil fruit here to change up the shape, which looks pretty good. This is the one I actually end up going with, which I think looks pretty good. Here I just kind of used a liquefy tool to kind of re-bloat and puff out that shape, just so you can get that three-dimensionality of it. Here I'm moving on to the inking, and I really like using this new pen, new brush, shall I say. It is a lot of grit, there's a lot of really kind of line weight and depth of variation. Really like it. Here I'm moving on to kind of like the swirl pattern, which I wanted it to be like in that same blood drop shape, which is kind of nice. So this one is actually kind of really simple, but like I said, sometimes simplicity is best, So I'm going to be moving on to the coloring soon. Yeah, here we go. I'm just, again, adding that kind of like grey base, just so everything can stay consistent and stay inside of the artwork here. I had a real back and forth with this one, even though you might think, oh, we'll just color it red. It's not that simple. Red has a lot of different shades, and so I wanted it to look like a big puffed up kind of like strawberry almost. Like I said, there's many different shades and variations to red. So I wanted maybe some oranges, some really light reds in there, some deep dark reds, Here I'm kind of coloring the kind of like leaves on top of there, using the color palette from the other devil fruits as references. Here I really like this. It's got really deep red to it. And which I think looks really, really good. I think we'll come to the end here. Oh, we've got a little bit more left to go. But here I'm faffing on with kind of like the, you know, kind of like the line art, trying to see if there's any different kind of a color. Here I'm working with kind of like a new feature I actually found in Photoshop, which is like rendering light. Saves a little bit of time on some certain stuff, you know. I would recommend looking into it. But here I'm kind of like, again, messing around with it. You know, sometimes, you know, you faff on with a lot of stuff, and sometimes you just got to tell yourself, you know what, take a step back, stop messing on with it, say that it's done, and then just leave it at that. Yeah, in the end, I did really like the way that the blood fruit came out. I think it's an incredibly powerful Logia-type devil fruit with a lot of variation and a lot of, you know, powers that you could really mess around with, like drowning people in pools of blood and solidifying it to create like this scab armor. You know, it's really interesting. And then obviously like the blood manipulation. So that's the blood devil fruit. Finally, here we come to the last of the devil fruits here, the crystal devil fruit, also known as the Kesho no Mi, or the crystal fruit. Now, it's a highly sought after Logia-type devil fruit because it's a special Logia-type devil fruit. This allows its user to transform their body into a dazzling crystal-like substance. Unlike other Logia fruits that transform, you know, into elements of matter, the Kesho no Mi is unique in that the crystals are a solid substance and the user can manipulate their density and shape to their will. The devil fruit enables its user to create razor-sharp crystalline weapons, or even transform their body into, you know, diamond-hard armor that can withstand powerful attacks. The user can also fire, you know, sharp crystal shards at their enemies, or create stunning, blinding, you know, light displays to disorient them, you know, bouncing all the light off of, you know, the sun, which could, you know, blind a lot of pirates. You know, it's a perfect counter to Kizaru's light devil fruit. You know, as with any devil fruit, there are drawbacks. This user is vulnerable to extreme heat, which can cause their crystal body to melt or shatter. But despite the risks, the Kesho no Mi remains a coveted and dangerous power sought out by those looking for a truly unique Logia devil fruit. And so, like I said, this one is a little bit different because crystals aren't exactly kind of like a normal substance, you know. It's a naturally occurring substance, but it's not like light or like ice or anything, you know. You know, it's really hard and durable, and you know, you can grow crystals from any surface or shoot them out like shards, kind of like Diamond Head from Ben 10. That's kind of like how I would see it. Or you could cover yourself in a thick layer of, you know, kind of quartz crystal armor, which is kind of cool. But here you can see me, I'm done a few different sketches here. None of them I'm particularly kind of like, you know, fond of. You know, it's just a whole process. But you know, like I said, there are the risks of using this Logia-type devil fruit, as you know, risk of, you know, extreme heat, which can make your crystal body melt or shatter. But despite the risks for that, you know, it's still an incredibly powerful Logia-type. You won't be I mean, you will be physically immune to physical attacks. Like if someone cuts off your arm, you know, you could just grow it back with crystals, make it stronger, you know, over time. Here, picked a sketch, and I'm kind of like trying to refine it here, trying to find out a specific shape to maybe kind of stay with, you know, trying to maybe go for different angles here. Very angular. Again, I've got more reference there off to the side of some other devil fruits there, just for like color and reference purposes. Here, I've kind of copied over my other sketch here, and I've kind of like, I'm trying to figure out a unique swirl pattern for the fruit. I think in the end, I just went with just some sort of generic swirl pattern inside the fruit, because what my idea is that this devil fruit is see-through. You know, it's well, a crystal, so you can actually see through it. It's very opaque. You can see through it, and the light will bounce off of it in lots of different ways. I also changed up the stem there to be very angular, very sharp. Yeah, so I feel like this devil fruit would have a nice good crunch when you bit into it. Here, moving on to my inking. Here, I used Lazy Nezumi for some really kind of sharp angles, using the parallel lines feature which is extremely useful. If you haven't gotten laziness in me, I highly recommend it. Saves me a lot of hassle when I'm doing inking, stuff like this, you know, a lot of stuff with like circles and parallel lines and oblongs and, you know, all sorts of different cool shapes. But yeah, here I'm just doing my inking. I changed this numerous times in the colouring stages that's coming up, as you'll see. But yeah, I actually really like the way that this crystal devil fruit turned out. Personally, I wouldn't want to eat this one because, you know, there's a lot of different things that could go wrong with it. But in the hands of someone who knows what they're doing, it could be extremely powerful. Like I said, my choice of devil fruit is the tartar fruit. But, you know, all of these are fantastic, powerful devil fruits that I think anybody who had them would be very lucky to have them. Like I said, Logia is very, very overpowered in the One Piece world. And these ones would be probably some of the most powerful, you know, with the blood fruits ability to, you know, change their blood to make it poisonous or, you know, inject it into other living beings and kind of blood bend them. From the tartar fruit having incredible sticky power to basically grab a hold of huge animals like giant minks or, you know, even Kaido and trap them and burn them slowly to death. And this crystal fruit being able to grow crystals anywhere, trapping any enemy, you know, in a kind of almost cave system of crystals, or shoot at them from a distance, or grow their own arm back from, you know, being sliced off or whatever. You know, making crystal sculptures out of themselves, or crystal weapons, which are incredibly powerful and incredibly durable. I imagine the main crystals would be kind of like this clear kind of quartz, which would be really cool. And then obviously its ability to reflect and dazzle light, which would make it really, really effective in fighting against Kizaru specifically, because his light can't really do anything except bounce off of your crystal body. And if you're using Haki in tandem with your hard crystal body, you know, there's nothing much he could really do to you. You know, you could probably just create like crystal bridges to get across water, kind of how like Aokiji uses his ice to freeze the water, except obviously crystal's a lot denser than ice, so I don't know whether that would still work. Here, it's gotten to be a little bit more kind of like painterly at this point, but I actually kind of like the way that it's gone, actually. It's pretty cool. But yeah, that is the crystal devil fruit. Let me know what you guys think. Would you want to eat this devil fruit? And that is going to do it for this week's episode, guys. And these Logia-type devil fruits, tell me, which one is your favorite? Is it the crystal, the blood, or the tartar devil fruit? If you did enjoy this episode, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring all the things, do all the YouTubey stuff. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!